Well, I made a YouTube channel, and I'm gonna make it everybody's problem. Okay, there we go. That should be better. For those that don't know me, my name is Richard, and I run Shogun Services, which is a ghostwriting agency. Specializes mainly in fiction and fantasy. I've delved into different genres, mediums. Man, what else have we done? Bear with me. My thoughts are a little scattered today. I am on 2 hours of sleep, and I'm just trying to ride the last dregs of the caffeine rush and momentum that I've got with the day. We're gonna get this video through, because what better way to perform than in the crunch? The number one question that I get asked most often: what is ghostwriting? I've had to answer that time and time again. So I'd figured I'd put it up here in a video, and I would let the video explain me explaining the video. Video explain me? So that it remain up here for as long as the platform allows it, for me to explain what ghostwriting is. Since the dawn of time, people have needed others to help them write. And it happens quite often in the music industry. If you know, there's code writers and ghostwriters that don't explicitly put their name up there, if at all, and or are out of the scene entirely. They work from the shadows. That's what we do as ghostwriters. We are the pens and the words behind people that have creative ideas and want to be aspiring authors, creators, musicians, what have you. They either don't have the confidence to go forward with it, feel as though they lack the skill, or they want to have some assistance in their endeavors from someone that does this. Now, a little bit of history about me. I grew up writing. I loved reading. I've had a nose in a book since I was, 3 years old? Sight reading, always reading. And what followed is I also liked to write. Core memory of mine, when I was 5, I was in kindergarten, wrote a short story. It was about seahorses, and one of them could breathe fire underwater. It was really cool. And my teachers loved it. So much they said, you need to keep writing. Throughout time and again, I'd hear people, you need to be a writer, you need to be a writer. And I said, well, I like to write for fun mainly, but hey, maybe one day I'll become a published author. And as I got older, it eventually led to short creative works. And then I was in a band. I started writing songs, started writing music. Then I started writing for other people, which inevitably I didn't even know that was ghostwriting at the time. But we had fun with it, didn't we? We sure did. And that's where we kind of got our kick to start. What really started to take off for me, around the time I got out of high school, I am a big diehard Final Fantasy fan. This translated into a fanfic that I wrote with friends, and it spanned for about 2 years. It's still on the reach of the internet somewhere. It's a little rough, just because I wasn't as technically proficient as I am now, nor focused on it. I just wanted to write, because the creative rush out of it, it's a creative spark of expression. For those that make stuff and create, you know that when you express it and you see that scintilla of a spark come to a full bore of light, you just know, you feel it. It's projected out there for the world to see, and you know when you know. Getting back to my writing history, after the fanfic, I wanted to start moving forward and get into a higher level of writing. I said, okay, I have a whole fanfic here that just involved me and some friends, just because I said I could. A lot of things I do in my life, by the way, as you're going to learn throughout this channel, there are a lot of things I do either out of spite, out of wonder and excitement, or simply because I can. After the fanfic, around my early 20s, I wanted to start wondering how to publish a book. Now, at the time, I didn't know that self-publishing mediums like Amazon were a thing. The internet around 2012, 2013 was just starting to hit that foundation of explosion to where everything took off into microcosms of minutia and everything became more instant. It was still in the infancy stages. I didn't have a way forward at the time, but I knew that I wanted to get into writing a book. Just have a piece of literature that I could call my own, to the point it became a bucket list goal. That led me to things like WeBook, and I started playing around with writing short stories. I briefly wrote a paranormal, kind of young adult love story one. I don't want to say full-on romance or nothing like that, because it didn't really get hot and heavy like that. But I did that, and I would do written role plays. It just fun stuff. And then I eventually got into blogging, and I started blogging for my beloved D&D character Broomguard Fireheart, which is on my Substack, and I am porting over chapter by chapter, as well as now getting all my notes together to finish the story, as I'm in tons of projects at this point that necessitate my attention. I kept the writing spark going, and it wasn't until 2019 that hit a head. I was involved in a car accident where a drunk driver hit me and then my then fiance, and it was one of those pivotal, it was a brush with death. I want to evaluate my life. And I had to ask myself out of that, if I would have died, would I have been okay with where things ended at? And that answer was a sobering no. That was no bueno, not cool. I didn't want it to end like that. I got a second chance at life. I need to start making things happen. That was the time I started knuckling down on, I want to go full bore into looking into what it's going to take to start a business. I want to publish my first book. I want to find a skill and cultivate it and know what I'm good at outside of normal employment, and at the time, what I had through the military, which the military gave me great skills on a tray with electronics and radar and weapons and all that. But I wanted something of my own, and I saw the whole internet money thing start to come about, and it hooked me. I wanted to, people are tapping into Wi-Fi, getting on their laptops and making cash? Well, sign me up, boss. I started getting into sales, learning in everything that I could that involved the internet, and it eventually led me to my very first gig on Fiverr, to where I returned to writing. And I said, I wonder if I can get paid to write for other people. Ghostwriting. Ghostwriting is a thing. I remember watching that show. I want to say it was on PBS, but if I'm wrong, they let me know in the comments. I'm not perfect. My memory, though long and pretty precise, is not perfect. You are free to correct me kindly on here if so. Ghostwriter was a show, I want to say, on PBS. And I remember watching it as a kid. It was quite literally a ghost that would go into the computer and write things out. Ironically, that carried in my subconscious up into that moment and went, I can ghostwrite for people. I can put my penmanship and my ability to write for other people. So I started with small gigs. I started with short stories. I charged very little, delivered very much. And the first few rounds of gigs were the proof to show, all right, can I do this? And when the reviews started coming back glowing and stellar, 5 stars across the board, I started ramping things up. Let me increase my scope. Let me get more clients. Let me keep doing work. And the cycle, rinse and repeat, built to where I'm at now. Even as someone who I'd like to think has some grit in the game now, I know that I can still stand to learn more, and I want to continue to do so. And to this day, it's led me to, I've lost the count. I need to go through one day and actually just count. But it's upwards of 20 plus books published for clients alone. This excludes short stories, essays, video game content, crypto content, a project which I can't divulge into too explicitly, but it involves a full-on indie game that I'm the head writer for. And I'm very honored to be on part of it. Hey, who knew that I would be writing for mediums that I enjoy? Because I enjoy video games. I don't play them as much as I used to as a kid, but you know how it is when you come up and you get those core memories and brain chemistry changes because of certain pieces of medium that impact you that much. Yeah, games are one of those. That is the backstory of me, of how I got into ghostwriting. Alas, I hope you could take some things out of the foundational origins to now go into the actual meat and potatoes. What is ghostwriting? Ghostwriting is simply being the ghost in the hand of someone that you write for. I know it's not as simple without its nuances and techniques. That is the breadth of what ghostwriting effectively is in a nutshell. To over summarize and simplify, you are writing for somebody else. Those reasons may be they don't know what they're doing. They're afraid to write because they may not feel capable enough. They are just outright afraid of criticism and rejection to the point they won't even move to start writing. They may not know where to begin, and they get analysis paralysis to where they want everything to be 110% perfect before they even type the first letter. You ever seen that episode of SpongeBob to where he has to write that paper and all he gets is that one word at the top? That happens to a lot of people. And a lot of the clients that I've worked with and spoke to, those are their top concerns. People like me who are ghostwriters, who have the skills, we have the social proof, and we know how to communicate and intuitively talk to people and adapt their linguistic styles and almost make their lexicon our own. We learn how to speak in their voice. We learn how to pick up on the nuances as well as the overall broad style of how one communicates, and we deliver it to paper. Now, there's other ways to go about it too. There's music, there's short stories, essays. Yes, you ever heard someone doing their homework for them and the teacher goes, yeah, whoa, that's so good. It looks like someone else wrote it. Because someone technically ghost wrote their homework for them. Surprise, surprise, there's a little thing right there. The list goes on and on. If it's a creative endeavor that involves something with penning words to paper, and this goes for copywriting too. This huge thing. I mean, social media ghostwriting is even a thing. X, formerly Twitter, has people that make killings off writing bangers of tweets for other people and getting paid to do it. It's everywhere. You just aren't as aware of it as you believe you are, or may not know about it entirely. Ghostwriters have existed since the dawn of time. They exist in multiple industries. You ever notice, if you look at the songwriting credits for music, sometimes it's beyond the singer, the artist, or the band themselves, and they have other names that are attached to them. Maybe producers, it may be co-writers, it may be people that ghostwrite under different names. I know I do that. I have a fantasy series to where I co-author. It's under the pen name R.K. Rickson, but I'm the main writer. I am the main creative lead of it. It is a 7-book series thus far, currently working on book 8, hoping to drop it around summer of this year and wrap up the trilogy by the end of the year, if time permits. I am quite a busy man nowadays. Yeah, sorry, my brain hit a little stoppage right there. I'm getting the creative and sine waves, so you gotta bear with me. Ghostwriting exists, whether you know it or not. People like me go out there to bring their works to life. All the aforementioned reasons, this is gonna make a great blooper reel. This part's gonna make a great blooper reel. Why do I ghostwrite? I know what it means to have the ability to write and how therapeutic, how wonderful, how fulfilling of a deep expression it is for me. I like being able to take written word and put it out into the world. I like the aether of my brain space to be my God-given talent, that I can put things to paper, sometimes eloquently, sometimes almost like a 5-year-old wrote it, depending on the manner and tone I'm going for, which I have a poetry book that kind of delves into both. So if you want to ghostwrite in the comments of what you know that feeling's like, feel free to do so. You know when you know. It's something instinctual. It's something in your gut deep down. You know, and when you know it, you feel it. It feels great. It's great. I like doing it because I like seeing the spark come alive in someone. And getting paid to write for others is great, and I'm glad that I've built a business off it, as well as an agency and an identity. I'm loath to say brand, because that is so slung very frivolously nowadays, and in disgusting quantities, to where people go, you just got to be your brand, you got to be your own brand. I believe branding is a technique. I don't believe brand should be identity alone, unless more akin to a product. Mine's more of a service and more of a labor of love. I don't want to put something that seems so materialistic as a term like brand to something that's so organic and living, if that makes sense. But that's a personal perception of mine. You meet people that they have the expansive creative worlds in their head, especially if it goes into anything that involves games like tabletop RPG. I have helped so many people write D&D stuff. I love that because I am a D&D player, by the way. I can go about all that in maybe one of these videos I will, but that is beside the point. You can read about D&D in my Substack. I love seeing the light come alive in them. The fears go away. Oh, wow. This story, it's real. This is written. This is going to be a book, and it's going to be mine. And when they look and they go, this is going to be mine, right? Hey, the paperwork says after I am done with everything, I turn the keys over to you. It's like I was never here. This is your book. By the time I'm done with this, this is your book. As far as the public knows, you wrote it, not me. I just made the magic come alive. I was your guiding hand. Seeing that moment of love in creation, I like seeing it in other people. There's something invigorating about it. You see the anxieties and the worry and the doubt and the paralysis of fear all shatter. You see something deep inside them come out, and it's joyous. That's the number one reaction that I didn't think I'd like as much as I did, but it's kept me going with ghostwriting. It keeps me going to this day. I like writing for myself, and I like writing for other people. It's a wonderful gift, and I believe gifts should be out there to serve and better your life and other people's lives around you. So how does ghostwriting work on a step-by-step basis? I can go into the technicalities and the deep details in another video, but as of this video, I'm just going to keep it sweet and simple to understand. I've already dropped a huge backstory on you guys, so I'm not going to try to inundate you with more information than you can handle. But yes, these videos are going to be long form. I like longer material, so hopefully you got the focus to keep up. So the ghostwriting process starts where you have an idea, you have a client, and they want to synergize together to say, I want something of an end product, whether it's a book, whether it's a short story, whether it's something digital, whether it's game dialogue, a script of how things go. I want a character built, I want a campaign built, and I need a plot for this, or some simple editing. I want a children's book. I've written a few children's books before. Whoo, that lack of sleep is catching up to me. It's effectively the same thing across different mediums. Someone wants something done in the written world, and you want to help them nail it down. So it starts off with, you have the conversation, you get as many notes and as many details of what they want. Sometimes people give you the overall outline and they leave you with the creative freedom to fill in the blanks because they trust you that much. Some of them are extremely detailed, some are a little looser with what they want. That's okay, there's no wrong answer to that. From there, you organize this jumble of thoughts that came out of their mental aether. You get it all organized and you make it coherent. Overall, people want something coherent, logical, and fairly sequential. Things can change. Sometimes you have story flavors to where you have the in medias res, or you have constant flashbacking. Hey, different strokes, different folks. And from there, a ghostwriter is going to go, here's everything that you have told me. I'm going to put this together. And from there, you write. The way I like to personally go, in a nutshell, is I have that conversation. I get all the details that I need. I stay in contact with them, chapter by chapter or milestone by milestone, depending on the length of the project and the scope. I check in with them. I deliver a piece of work. Here, read this. If you need revisions, let me know. If this is to your satisfaction, we're going to continue. And 9 times out of 10, they like so much they continue. It's not to say that I haven't had to revise stuff before. And that's all right. That's part of the journey. I'm just very fortunate that usually can manage to nail it down with such accuracy. People are good with it the first go. And that's just me being able to adapt, listen, and intuitively tap into the way they speak and be able to put to form what they want. Intuition cannot always be taught, but I can teach the techniques into how to better immerse yourself into somebody. But the gift around that and the skill, it just starts with being a good listener. Just listen to what they want. Pay attention. Genuinely listen. Don't hear just, oh, okay, yeah, no, yeah, oh, sorry, what'd you say? No. Immerse. Hang on to every word. Clarify everything. Make sure that you got what they want. And deliver in spades. Take everything and just say, I'm gonna go to work, and when we get it finished, we get it finished. After note-taking and work and deliveries and step by step, you finally get to the end of the manuscript, you go into the editing, you polish everything up, and then if they want to go the self-publishing route, which is the way I go because I do not use traditional publishers, not knocking them, I've never used them. I've always self-published because I like the total control over my creative works. We set up on Amazon and/or Gumroad. I've done a few Gumroad setups before. Those are the two common mediums that we publish on. We get them all set up. We go through cover creation and consultation. If it's not something that I can immediately create in a more simplistic term, I have creators and I have editors that can do that. And then we deliver a polished, finished product that's all theirs. What do you know? We just ghost wrote something. So where did the name of the Ronin Spiritscribe come from? That's where it ties together. I opened up Shogun services because when I was 5 years old again, there's that pivotal age where a lot of things impressed on me. I remember watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the third live action movie. I watched 1 and 2, but the third one stuck with me because that was the first time I ever saw a samurai. And I thought those were so cool. So I remember in kindergarten when they asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a samurai. They thought I was kidding. No, I took it quite literally. So years later, when I just thinking of a name, what do I name my ghostwriting agency and my business? Shogun Services. I love Japanese culture. Kind of a weeb. I'm not gonna say I'm a full bore one, but I mean, I love Japanese culture. I love the country. I've been there 3 times. Every visit was wonderful. I just love the culture, the history. Shogun, being of a ruling class of samurai, like the top, I decided, well, what would be a good way to name a style that I write in? What would be the techniques behind that? And that's where I wrote the book, The Ronin Spiritscribe Scrolls. because I likened myself to a masterless samurai that sought battles but wanted to learn from different mentors, yet never truly stuck to one to grow. Miyamoto Musashi style. By constantly putting myself up against different writing assignments, tasks, and challenges, I could grow. They call that clashing the literary blade against the ink. Can't get better until you keep doing it. Over time, it's like, wow, Spiritscribe is it's an archaic yet wondrous sounding word for ghostwriter. Because anyone can just put ghostwriter at the end of their title, but there's very few that it sticks to people. Like, oh, no, like, that's the ghostwriter. Or, oh, no, that's the so-and-so ghostwriter. Just add a little bit of flavor. Have some fun with it. It came from my book, The Ronin Spiritscribe Scrolls, which is a book that I wrote on how I ghostwrite in detail and all the techniques and ideas that I lay my things upon to tell stories from start to finish for people. And over time I went, well, now I'm starting to kind of earn myself the title of Ronin Spiritscribe. So I wanted to name the channel that. This is how we got the channel, which covers things ghostwriting. Long form, the long way. Not sure what I'm going to go into next, but when the idea hits me, I'll know. I'm not very big on planning these videos. I'm just more of a, when the creative outlet hits me, I just want to make stuff. I just want to make content. I'll start planning more things out over time, which is very counterintuitive to how I usually do with books. I'm a big planner. I'm not a pantser. But with videos, I get hit with that thunder of the aether, and I just know this is the topic I'm going to do. And I can commit enough to my memory to be able to deliver on these videos and go over these things. With time, there'll be other topics. Sometimes they'll just be ramblings about things like, here's a book series I love, or here is a breakdown why I think this series absolutely sucks. Small disclaimer, I don't believe I'll actually do that. I'm not one to try to make my channel about tearing things down so much as I am about to build things up. We'll focus on the things we like. Until then, you've sat through this, and I'm grateful that you did. Yeah, we're gonna have some more fun in the future. Anywho, I'm gonna finally relax for the afternoon. This is Richard, and I just want to encourage you all to focus up, battle on.